Hello, people. How is it going? How is it going? Haven't yet started. No, I decided to get things organized early today, so the stream stuff was all ready to go. Possibly be the last weekend of Super Rugby. Yeah, I figured I'd better stream because this may be the last chance to do a stream. We will see. Ruben is back in the Bulls. Not going to be an easy game. And Jasmine says, well done to the Blues. Indeed. They really put the Lions to the sword. I did end up going to the Blues game, which, given the news that came out when I was at the game about New Zealand essentially closing off all travel, for the most part, locking people down for 2 weeks and whatnot, that was probably a good choice because our next opponent is the Brumbies, and unless they can get here before midnight Sunday, then they ain't going to be playing. So, yes, pretty glad I went to that game. Surely now the Blues must be taken seriously. Yeah. I mean, the Lions haven't been a good team this year, and the Blues put them to the sword, so I guess that just means the Blues are a good team. Can't deny it. Can't deny it. Shout out from South Africa. I am so proud of the Hurricanes. Won $500. Congratulations, man. Another Bulls fan by the look of things. Is that some Afrikaans there? Still hoping the Stormers versus Chiefs game is going ahead in April. I have to have a look at the fixtures list. I think the Lions will be okay because they're already here. But it seems like the Brumbies are here next week. I don't think... Man, they're playing tomorrow. They'll have to get on the last flight that arrives in New Zealand before midnight. Who's due to come to New Zealand next week? Hurricanes, Crusaders, that's fine. Both teams are already here. Well, the Crusaders will be back. Rebels, Sunwolves is in Australia. That'll be behind closed doors. Highlanders, Lions, that may not go ahead, actually, because the Highlanders will be coming back from Argentina. They will have to lock down. Blues, Brumbies may not go ahead because Brumbies, unless they can get here before midnight. And, yeah, it seems to be the only two games. So we will see. We will see. 25 April. Supposed to be taking your daughter, but you haven't told her. 25th of April. It might be long enough because I think the ban at the moment is only for 2 weeks. So 25 April. Oh, yeah, Chief Stormers. Have to wait and see. No idea why I'm so happy to see a Blues supporter after this morning. Well done on your team's training run. Yeah, that was a bit of a hiding, mate. It was a bit of a hiding. Morning, Pure. How are you, mate? Hey, Charlie. Charlie's got the right icon. Good man. Good man. No chance of a jersey clash this week, I think. Bulls should be in blue. Reds should be in red. Man. Not sure how much more Super Rugby we're going to get to see, so we might as well enjoy what goes on for the minute. Sam, hey man, the Blues game was good. The crowd was okay. Like compared to the last game I went to, which was the Chiefs, it was a lot less. But geographically, the Chiefs are right next door to the Blues, so it's not a big trip to come up for the game. And it was like the first game of the season, so yeah, having a foreign team come always draws fewer fans. The COVID-19 thing probably affected the amount of people that came to the game as well. So, yeah, the crowd was all right, all things considered. What's up, broski? Cheers, man. Got the good icon. No, this is not Corona. I kind of wish it was Corona because it's export gold. Good day, sir. Good day to you. Is this the Blues year? I don't know, man. Is the competition even going to go ahead? I don't know. Was at the game today. Great afternoon. Yeah, me as well, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Ruben says, hopefully the Reds underestimate the Bulls. I think they're going to want to get a win, given that there's a ban on gatherings in Australia from next week. So we will see. Lions' second team lost 45-15 to the Sharks last night. Something wrong with their defense. Ooh, that sounds like a similar story to their first team. Watching from Japan, as always, I'm related, but am I the only one who thinks the second jerseys for the New Zealand teams all look the same this year? Man, they're pretty terrible. The Blues one is white, which is different, but all the other ones are pretty much the same. And they've been pretty roundly condemned as being terrible. Super Rugby might be cancelled because of Corona. Yeah, well, New Zealand has just said anybody who returns from overseas, apart from the Pacific Islands, has to stay in self-isolation for 2 weeks, which kind of makes it impossible for any teams to come to New Zealand or New Zealand teams to come back and play. But it's only for 2 weeks that they've put this ban in place, so I don't know. People are overreacting. The coronavirus Institute has been really impressive. Hawaiian Baker Cake has the coronavirus. How's that going? Crusaders crowd was poor, but more people are rolling in for the Reds. Are you at the game, Sam? Because, yeah, the Crusaders crowd didn't look that good, but it was pretty early afternoon, right? If it's cancelled, I will lose my betting income. That sucks badly. Bro, try having a YouTube channel about rugby. I can't imagine my revenues will be up. I mean, not that they're significant. I still work a day job, but yeah, I can't imagine it's going to do me any favors. But I mean, and this to be in all seriousness, like all the businesses, I just booked a holiday with my wife. We were going to go down to the South Island because we've never really been. We just booked it like 2 days ago, and we already got a message saying this might be cancelled. So there are legit businesses whose it's their full-time income who are in potentially big trouble. Blues doing a lot better than people give them credit. I agree. People maybe take them seriously now. Hurricanes, Crusaders won't touch that game with my money. Sharks, Blues final over again. 96. Let's do it, man. I like the way 96 went. This game has just started, by the way, if you're not watching it, 27 seconds in. Sitting in isolation here. Well done, the Blues. Whereabouts are you in isolation, bro? Anything can still happen. Chiefs only got their first win in round 6 last year. Yeah, that's true. They did have a terrible start to the season. Last weekend of Super Rugby. Well, I don't think so. Looking at the fixtures, there are still some games that could go ahead, but you might be right. They may just decide to cancel them all. Let's go, Libok. Yeah, he needs to put in a good shift to keep Mornay Staines' bum on the pine. Keen for a sesh. Nah, bro. Good. I'm good, thank you. My uni, Melbourne, has people with the virus. No way. Yeah, well, my wife's hometown, where I used to live for 7 years, is where the virus started. So I'm glad I didn't live there now. But I did live there for 7 years. In old Wuhan. So, yeah, her parents are still there. Not good. I love the input. Oh, with the betting. Yeah. I do try to cover a bit everything. Get the algorithm in, get the bookies, get my opinions, the lineups. I hope it helps, mate. You reckon they should just postpone the entire tournament now? And allow the local competition to play? So that's an idea. That's an idea. Are all these players going to be available to play during the regular Curry Cup time, though? Isn't that when we play Rugby Championship? I don't know. There's definitely smart ideas out there like that, which may have some options. I certainly do not have the right answers. Bulls 90, Reds 3. Who remembers that game? Not I. Maybe play behind closed doors and test extensively. Really hope the season continues. 90-3 was a classic. Man, I don't remember that one. How long ago was that? Must be long ago. Behind closed doors is, I guess, a possibility, but you've still got TV crews, you've still got the caterers, you've still got all the support staff. It's a lot of people, even if it's behind closed doors. I have uncapped internet, but I don't know how to watch the game live. Whereabouts are you? Back from Singapore, now in Western Australia. So from Singapore, you have to go into isolation. That's interesting. New Zealand was just, China banned unless you're a Kiwi returning home. Iran banned unless you're a Kiwi returning home. Both those two had to go self-isolation. Italy, self-isolation. And was it Korea, self-isolation? But it was only suggested. There was some woman who got it. It was just traveling all around. So, yeah, it happens. As soon as the Blues have a good season, shake my head. The season might get cancelled. I feel you, brother. It's like, yeah. Finally, things start to go well. The season will get cancelled. Do you guys have a toilet paper shortage similar to that in Australia? The supermarkets are limiting you to two toilet paper purchases per customer, per group. So you're not allowed to stock up on toilet paper. I really think there are better things you could stock up on instead of bloody toilet paper, honestly. Like, you can still live without toilet paper. You're not going to starve. So it's a bizarre one. These two teams are basically even right. They have had very similar seasons thus far. One win apiece. I think the Bulls have had 4 losses and the Reds have had 5. Reds are at home, so it's pretty much evening out. I don't know anybody in the Bulls except Speckman. Okay, there's a few other good guys as well. Love the videos. Maybe some McDermott magic off the bench today. Oh, man, we need some McDermott magic for sure. I want the McDermott magic. From South Africa. Very good. New Zealand cricket game played behind closed doors. Yes, and they've cancelled the rest of the series. I think the New Zealand team are making a beeline back for New Zealand to try and get in before the self-isolation ban thingy starts. Sam is a double header, man. Enjoy it because this might be your last bit of Super Rugby for a while in Australia, maybe in New Zealand as well. This is like the best season ever. I do like it that within 6 rounds, like everybody's had a loss, everybody's had a win. So that's a good thing. Rebels v Summers is playing behind closed doors. Yes. Highlanders at the Juarez tomorrow is also behind closed doors. New Zealand cricket team went home. Yes, they did. Bulls need around 70 points to secure a home semi-final, and they got 92. No way. God, I do not remember that at all. I remember the Crusaders gave the Waratahs a big old hiding one year. I seem to remember the Lions or the Cats on the back of a couple of hidings. Not really required, but I have a cold. Waiting for the results. Man. Hey, Ribsy's here. How's it going, mate? You should be at the game because you're your last chance to get rugby as well. Yeah, if you've got a cold right now, it's probably a good time to stay home. I've sneezed twice in the last hour, and I'm thinking, oh man, should I go to work tomorrow? Like, it could just be dust in the air. I don't know. We still had heaps of toilet paper here, stocked up on things like baked beans, spaghetti. Yeah, like baked beans, rice, and pasta sauce and stuff. Like, yeah, that's stuff that you could feed yourself on if there was a period where you couldn't get food. But you can't eat toilet paper, not that I'm aware of. So, but I'm sure you can find other ways to clean your ass if you need to. So, priorities, I would have thought. Is it still 0-0? Indeed. 6 minutes and 51 seconds gone. It's still 0-0. The Bulls have looked the better of the two teams, seeing as I should be talking about rugby instead of toilet paper, but it is the go at the moment. Sharks versus Stormers. Who wins? I picked the Sharks, but I also picked the Chiefs yesterday. So, whoa, here's a try. Kotza, no. God, he's close. The Bulls are like 2 meters out. Kotza went close, but I think he was ankle tapped. Didn't quite make it. Is that Papia? I think the first try for the Bulls. It's Papia. Nice work. Bulls' early pressure pays off. They have definitely looked the better of the two teams thus far. I'm going to put a 7 because I cannot see them not converting that. I think they will convert it. Evening, Mr. Lord of the Kings. How's it going? Oh, you live in Canberra. Oh. But you're a Queensland man, aren't you? But you should be going to the game tomorrow then, by the way. Stormers are basically playing the Springbok team. Yes, indeed. Springbok A versus Springbok B. Anyone getting Super Rugby withdrawal symptoms? Bro, I am not joking in that I have just this evening ordered like 5 DVDs, all on clearance, all like classic games and whatnot. Not just Super Rugby, like Tri Nations and Six Nations and World Cup, just so I can watch some rugby stuff if I need to. That's sad but true. What's the Bulls-Lions game? I hope it's not the last game I see. Yeah, me as well, mate. Me as well. Photo of empty shelves, people stockpiling on water. WTF, are the taps going to stop working? Yeah, water and toilet paper, I would have thought are two things you don't really need to stock up on because, like, as I said, used to live in Wuhan. My wife's from Wuhan. Wuhan was the place that had like 99% of the cases for a long time. They didn't turn the water off there. It wasn't like zombies took over the power plants and the water facilities. The water still runs. You have to boil it in Wuhan, but it was still tap water. Offload was nice, indeed. I knew the Reds would spend all the week thinking up where to throw this away. So far, so good in terms of throwing the game away. And they have just missed a penalty. Hegarty had a chance to pin the Bulls straight back with a penalty, but he missed it. Didn't seem that hard. Bill. Bill, is that a person? Bill? Like a man's name? Let's go Bulls. The Bulls are doing all right. Nobody who lives in Canberra is from Canberra. It's the rules. You have to eat a local when you arrive. Ah, good. Good. Good, mate, yourself, apart from the cluster that will be the rest of the Super Rugby season. Yeah, I can't wait to see how my day at work goes tomorrow. Like, it has been horrendous with the coronavirus stuff. Just because the uni I work for is like, oh, snap, all these international students who pay these huge fees aren't going to come. How can we get them in the country? And how can we make them not ask for a refund? So that has been just pandemonium for the last, I don't know, 6 weeks. Yeah. So my day job sucks. So sign up to Patreon, then I can quit my day job, please. We happy with the Blues' performance against the Lions and Scotland Wales still on tomorrow morning? Nah, Scotland Wales is off. I did my preview video and then it was called off about 6 hours later. And I was pretty satisfied with the Blues, man. I haven't looked at any of the stats or any of the replay, but their defense seemed immense at times, and they were able to cut the lines up from time to time as well. Still could have been better. They blew a few tries. James O'Connor for the Poles. He hasn't been kicking for a while. It's always been Campbell and now Hegarty, so I'm not sure what's the deal with that. I wonder what it feel like to play in an empty stadium. Insert joke about Aussie team here. Or the Singapore games with the Sunwolves, virtually empty stadium as well. Hope the Sharks Stormers game will not be the last game. I know. Oh, holy moly. Did Speckman just get a try? Jeez, I turned away for 2 seconds. Man, Bulls. This is one heck of a start. That was out of nowhere. Oh, man. Speckman out wide. Somebody bit in. Oh, it was Hegarty. Too much space. New Zealand Cup 2020. I don't know what they're going to do, man. Reds need a kicking coach. Yeah, Andrew Mertens worked wonders with Bernard Foley back in the day. So, score prediction for the game. Hot start from the Bulls. You are right, Sam. Well, not that it's worth anything. I think I picked the Reds by about 10. Let's have a look. What did I pick? I picked the Reds by 10. There you go. What a memory. Picked the Reds by 10. That's looking like a pretty ordinary pick right now, although Lubbock has just pushed the conversion wide. So it is 12 points to 0. You picked Bulls 7. Nice. Bulls 42, Reds 14. Geez, I'd be happy with that. Speckman, you knew it, man. Possession right now is 80-20 to the Bulls. Territory 84-16 to the Bulls. But from kickoffs, the Bulls do not look very good. First time they gave away a penalty. This time they've given up a bit of territory, and now they're in their own 22 defending. Oh, James O'Connor with the offload, and then the second offload goes to Dirt. You have to go. Have a good night. Thank you, Bailey. Have a good one, buddy. Bulls have started going wide, and they look good. They've been doing that at least since last week. All the outside backs got tries last week. Picked the Reds by 6, but then again, my weekend is 1 from 3. I know the feeling. They blew that. 2020 starting like a series. We'll see the All Blacks play Wales and Auckland on July 4th. Phoning interview. Oh, yes. Oh. Jeez, the Bulls made a bit of a meal of that. Stains on the bench, indeed. It's got to be a car. What a donkey. Yeah. Kick and fairway Satia just clips him late. Yeah, that was a bit stupid. Late tackle was right. That Canes win was crazy. Bro, they look dead and buried. Oh, it's too late. At least it's arm and not shoulder. Playing for Muleland will be joining the Bulls later this season. Really? Damn, that's good news. Yellow card. Hey, Jonathan, how's it going, man? It's going good for now. Rugby is still on. Ask me again next week. It may be a different story. We may just have to do a live chat, which is just like a chat, like a live stream, which is just like a live chat. Maybe I'll put on a DVD of like I just ordered 5, but I could put on Richie McCaw's DVD or the Leinster DVD that I've got, or like the good, no, what's it called? The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby, which is like a VHS tape from the 90s, and just watch that and chat nonsense. I don't know, man. We'll have to see how things go. Not surprised, indeed. Hope that Scotland does end up coming. Yeah, they got to come here as well. To be honest, I think people are making too much of the coronavirus. It's pretty much like the flu, but a few old people dying. Yeah, I mean, I think it's because it's been sucking the joy from my life. But when my boss was on leave, I had to go to a bunch of meetings at my day job. And my day job, if you didn't know, is at a university. The university's got a medical school, so they had the expert from like the infectious diseases department there, and he's like, yeah, it's like 10 times more lethal than the flu. So it's like 2%, I think he said. But for the elderly, it's a lot higher. So, and for children, it's virtually non-existent. But yeah, my old man, he's almost 70, and he still came out to the rugby, so he wasn't too fussed. I still made him wash his hands. That's it. You would watch that, yeah. Rig up an old PS2 and streams to Rugby 08. I don't have a copy of Rugby 08 anymore. Oh my god, the Bulls are going to score again. The Bulls have just scored again. This time it's Khalant. Wow. It's all going pear-shaped for the Reds, people. It's finally starting to click for the Bulls. They are on fire. I mean, sure, man advantage, but still, damn. The live chat. Yeah. I'm thinking about getting a copy if things do really go pear-shaped. Like, I don't usually play rugby games because apart from Rugby 08, they're pretty bad. But I may get a copy of like Rugby, whatever the latest one is, and try that. I could stream that or something. 100 times more lethal. Okay, well then that's a lot more lethal. But yeah, I may end up doing that. If there's no actual rugby on, I might have to play some rugby or watch some old DVDs or something. So I need to find something. You knew the Reds would do this. You just do it. I thought the Blues might do this against the Lions, against a team that they should beat. But this conversion is also from the sideline. He missed the last one from a pretty similar position. Will he correct it this time? It's a heck of a lot closer, but still not quite. It's 4 points they have left out, and Campbell looks to be going off for an HIA. Just from looking at the way Jock Campbell is walking, I can't imagine he's coming back on. I can't even tell the difference between Geordie and his brother. I know that is good. Just to confirm, Dwayne Familiar will be available from 1 June. Probably eyeing the British and Irish Lions tour. Makes sense, mate. Does make sense. Seriously, the Lions can't be the only rubbish team in South Africa. It feels weird. Yeah. The Lions have been that kind of shining light in South African rugby in recent times, although not so much last year. Did you watch Squidge Rugby's review of the Sevens? I think I watched either most of it or all of it. It was pretty funny. There were some bizarre things in that game, weren't there? What do you think of the Blues' performance against the Lions? Pretty happy, man. Blues defense solid, attack sharp. They tried some nonsense at the end, which they may not have tried if they were kind of in a close game. But I guess that's the time to try it. So, yeah. I wish there was a good rugby manager game like there is for football. Bro, I would love it. I would love it. I used to live Football Manager. When I first moved to China in 2005, I worked there for a year in a small town with not a lot to do and a really old computer, but it could run Football Manager. And I just played the hell out of Football Manager. I took a team from like 4th division and made them Champions League champions. So, yeah. Bodie is short compared to his brother. Yeah, Geordie is pretty tall. He's like, I think, 196. He's taller than me. Where did the Bulls get this from? Don't know, but their outside backs are sharp. South Africa, India was cancelled. Yeah, aren't you glad that the Rugby World Cup finished without any issues, eh? With Ireland only playing the Wallabies twice this July, has there been any news of them playing a third test? Not that I know of, man. Not that I know of. Do you watch GRR? What's GRR? Is that green and... No, it's not green and gold rugby. I think Spate has just got back to force that before Speckman. The Bulls are looking deadly. Or SLAR. Oh, Global Rapid Rugby. Global Rapid Rugby. That started today, didn't it? I didn't see it. I've seen a couple of games of Global Rapid Rugby last season. The South American League, I haven't seen any as yet. I've only just started watching the MLR, and now that's been canned for the next month. I picked Bulls to win by 14. That may be a good pick at this point. The Yanks have postponed MLR. Yes, MLR is off. Pro 14 is off. Super Rugby, watch this space. Six Nations off. So, yeah. I think the Premiership's still waiting. Let's kind of watch this space as well in England. And I'm not sure about France. I haven't read. Jamie Roberts is the inside man for Warren Gatland. That's tricky thinking. Do you think the Bulls will keep this up in the second half? Even if they don't, if they can get a big enough lead here in this first half, it may not matter. Even if they fall off the pace, they'll have a big enough lead to perhaps keep in front. I seem to remember, was it last year against the Chiefs? The Bulls played really well, but kind of tired, and the Chiefs ran them down. Was it the last year or the year before? Papia going for a drop goal. Yeah, man, that was bizarre. I should have mentioned that. Papia tried a drop goal, and it wasn't that far away. Out of nowhere. I guess if no one's going to close you down, why not go for it? Are the Crusaders still picking the Kiwi Conference? Yeah, I think so, man. When in doubt, just go with the Crusaders. Most of the time, they'll be a good pick. You think Roberts can get into the British and Irish lines? I wouldn't have thought so. Although he has picked up his form the last couple of weeks for the Stormers, but yeah. Papia, third fly half choice at that. Maybe. The Stormers are dropping fast on the Super Rugby table. Yeah, having the bye didn't help, and losing to the Blues didn't help. So they could certainly use a win against the Sharks, but if they lose, their season will look a lot more average than it did a month ago. Ron, what's up, man? I'm watching the Bulls and the Reds. I'm getting some Super Rugby in while it's still around. Because who knows how long it's going to be around. Agent Roberts sent by Gatland to give insight on South African rugby. That I maybe believe more. Microphone is clipping. Oh, is it me clicking my pen? Or is it like legit the microphone? I don't know. Someone else complained about the microphone having echo before as well. Not on the stream, but on another video. Don't know. How come the Reds score against the Crusaders in New Zealand but can't score at home against the Bulls? Because they're the Reds. It's a thing. Are the Australian teams more hyped to play New Zealand than South Africa? I don't know. They generally don't have a great record against the New Zealand teams, but in the last few weeks they've been better. Surely some Super Rugby games can be cancelled and others can go ahead. That could only happen for one round before teams were not playing enough games. Well, New Zealand's ban, or at least not even a ban, but the requirement for people coming in from overseas, including Kiwis, to isolate for 2 weeks would seem to kill off any chance of any team coming back from getting a game unless they change the venue. So, yeah, some smart people, once the South Africans are out of bed and the Argentinians are out of bed and they all get a chance to have a chat today, some smart people are going to have to make some quick decisions. Because the Reds always find a way to punish you if you start believing in them. Traditionally, that's a Blues thing as well. That is generally a Blues thing too. Some teams will be so happy if their game gets cancelled. Possibly a thing as well. I don't know what they do. Do you just count them as a draw? There's not really much room to postpone them. Like the Six Nations is postponing them and talking about maybe playing them in October. But you can't imagine them doing that for a club competition. Mike is clipping, but it's fine. All right, I'll have to check that after the stream. It's done a weird thing once before where I had to do something on it because it had a bug, which is frustrating. So the Reds is like the Super Rugby French team, kind of. Yes, kind of like that. Believe it or not, it wasn't that many years ago that they actually won Super Rugby, but it seems like a lifetime ago now. In Global Rapid Rugby, they lost the Bay of Plenty. Okay. I will take a draw against some of the teams as my team was on a 5-game losing streak. If everyone gets a draw, then nobody gets ahead. You just kind of stick where you are. Does it even matter if either of these two teams win? There's still enough time. There's 18 rounds. There's still enough time. So, yeah, maybe. Reds last won it in 2011. That's a long time ago. It's not that long. It's not like Blues long ago. Blues last won it in 2003. That feels like a lot longer than 2011. We won Super Rugby with the dumbest team too. We had a really good night. At that time, Guinea was the best 9 in the world by a country mile. Who's rooting for the Sharks? Oh, I'd like to see the Sharks do well. There's no time. It's over. What do you mean there's no time? What do you mean? Blues get to the finals, but Super Rugby is cancelled. That would be fitting, wouldn't it? The Blues finally get some good results, and then Super Rugby will be off for the season. And Quade Cooper was unstoppable. That was, one of Quade Cooper's better seasons. Who else was in that team? Digby Ioane? Man, that's a long time ago. Ooh, the Reds are about a meter out. Try time. Maybe the Reds are not dead and buried just yet. Is that Liam Wright? Important kick. Coronavirus will cancel the season. It seems quite likely. As a Lions fan, please cancel this season. Radiki Samo. Bro, that guy was the man as well. He was like 50 and he could still run like a 20-year-old. The Faenga brothers. Yep, that's true. Who else was in that team? Who was that New Zealand-born fullback that used to play for them and do the goal kicking? He got kept by the Wallabies as well. I'm pretty sure he was in that team too, right? Mike something. He had a pretty decent kick on him. Mike. Shit. No, I don't know. Beric Barnes. No, I'm thinking of that dude. It'll come to me. Super Rugby is the only sport in the world still going. Not quite sure it's that bad, but yeah, it's getting that bad. Could always have another relegation thing. Blues doing good for once. Coronavirus, let me stop you right there. I mean, to be fair, Liverpool fans have said the same thing. Like Liverpool hasn't won the Premier League in like 30 years, and then it looks like they're in a box position to win it, and then this happens. So there's a few sports teams who are kind of frustrated like this, but it is only sports, I guess. Let me see. Has Super Rugby made any updates yet in the news? Or not yet? Super Rugby. No. Seems to be just speculation so far. Reds always have to have that little blonde winger in every team that's local Brisbane. Oh, he comes off the bench and gets axed every week. Durna said that everyone who visits has to quarantine for 14 days. So they decided to cancel Super Rugby, but have they? Because the quarantine's only for like 2 weeks, right? At least a provisional 2 weeks. Everyone into New Zealand will have to self-isolate. Yeah, that's not going to happen in terms of visiting teams being able to play. I don't know what they'll do. Drinking Corona. Nah, I'm drinking Export Gold, but I should have Corona. I'm sure they'll have to start discounting that stuff soon. The Reds had Tupperway, that's right. Daly, Simmons, Holmes, Davis, Lance, and a few. Cooper, cross kick. Just end the season with whoever's at the top of my power rankings. How about we take whoever's at the top of the table when it was the Blues? Thanks for the stream. It's all good, man. I figured there ain't going to be much rugby going forward, so let's get a stream done. Does the crowd look empty? It's a really big stadium. There's probably at least 10,000 people there, but I think it's like a 50,000 seater, so it just looks terrible. Has it been cancelled though? Like officially? I thought they were gonna they released a statement a while ago saying that they were gonna talk about it. Talk with the stakeholders. I can't imagine they've talked about it yet. I mean, all they can really do is postpone or cancel. 10,000 is pushing it, you reckon? Yeah, maybe 10,000. It does look bad if it doesn't need capacity. Yeah, it's like Eden Park always looks bad. – 10,000 people coming to watch the Reds lose. Bro, 10,000 people go to see the Blues lose most weeks as well, except this year when we've actually won a few. Although, is that our first home win? Just have a Q&A next weekend. They have a topic. True. I think we might end up doing stuff like that, man. We're going to have to look to the past because the present is probably not going to have a lot going on. Do you think England are the big bullies of the rugby world? Like, oh, close for the Bulls. Oh, what a tackle by Wright to keep Speckman off the line. The English get portrayed as kind of the villains in rugby, that's for sure. Like, if it's Star Wars, they are definitely the Empire. And, like, Eddie Jones is, like, the Emperor. or Darth Vader, either way. But no, Darth Vader's got a good side. I don't think most people see it. But I think partly it's because they're media, and partly because like Eddie Jones doesn't care if he annoys people. I think he deliberately likes to play some mind games, so that kind of stuff drives people up the wall. I think Clive Woodward generally drove people up the wall. So, like Lancaster was all right. I don't think anyone particularly disliked that guy. He wasn't such a. England need to beat the Box before they can be top. Indeed. We need to invent hazmat suit rugby. I feel like rugby's probably not a sport conducive to hazmat suits. Reds did really well to survive there, by the way. Stream the Brumbies to make up for it. Oh, what time is the Brumbies game on here tomorrow? Let's have a look. Brumbies game is on 6:05. My kids will, in all likelihood, still be awake at that time, so it makes it a bit trickier. Should find some of the best Super Rugby finals and stream them. Yeah, it's a tricky one to figure out what's the best thing to do if it does happen. A lot of stuff you just can't find anymore, like a lot of the old games. So, but yeah, I've tried to find some. Maybe Super Rugby teams can play out the rest of the season with online rugby games against each other, but there's no good online rugby game. I think I'd rather watch the guys playing Madden than one of the rugby games. Convert Super Rugby to PlayStation Rugby. There you go. I couldn't lift a second row in a hazmat suit. Yeah, the grip would be troublesome. Do your kids like rugby? My kids are still a bit young. Like my son's the eldest, and he's 4. He tried a thing here called Rugby Tots. Ooh, what a huge tackle off the ball. Where they get kids to have like a little foam ball. He was only like 2.5 when he did that. And they get them to like score a try, to put the ball down, and to pass the ball, to kick the ball. Get them to do all kind of little kiddie stuff. And it's okay, but like he was doing swimming classes and rugby tots, and I was just like, bro, I'm not taking you to 2 things on a weekend. You're doing one. And I picked swimming because it's like, if my kid falls in the water, he should probably know how not to drown. I live in New Zealand, it's Ireland, so swimming took priority. But my son will quite happily sit here and watch rugby with me. So in that regard, he likes rugby. There's a full game, a game of Chiefs 72, Lions 65, somewhere on YouTube. Yeah, there are a few full games online some places, and some of them get pulled down for copyright stuff. I don't know what they do with some of the older games, whether they copyright strike those ones or if it's just the new games. I know World Rugby is pretty protective of its stuff. Super Rugby, anything on Sky here in New Zealand, they're pretty protective of. So a lot of stuff just get pulled. Oh, that's a beautiful try from the Reds, man. That was amazing. That was offload try. Ridiculous. That's Lucas that scored it. How many offloads was that? Honestly, that was ridiculous. There's no stopping that. Stewart offload. Fairway City a pass. Spate tackled. Wilson offload to Hawkins offload to Merlua offload. Try time. What a try. They have full games of the 2015 World Cup. That's good news. I believe the 2015 World Cup had a pretty good ending, eh? It'll be 14-12. Just go down to the park and film some high school kids playing rugby. Nobody find that strange at all. Actually, club rugby starts in like 2 weeks. So I could do that. Like I film my own stuff. Nobody can copyright strike me from that. Love your channel and my one-liners. Okay. If I do one-liners, they're not planned. That's for sure. Just don't let your kid get into golf. That stuff is sending me to the poorhouse. Yeah, no chance of my kid getting into golf. That's for damn sure. Good choice. Kids need to learn to stay afloat as soon as possible. Yeah, I kind of figure the same. Yeah, my wife can't swim, and that's a drawback. So I want my kids to be able to swim. And like to be fair, the class that we go to doesn't even really teach them to swim when they're babies. It's just like, bro, if you fall in the water, here's how you get out. Here's how you don't breathe in water, that kind of stuff. So seemed useful. Does your son support the same team as you? Like, as I got home, he was already in bed, and I went to see him to say goodnight to him. And I was like, I just got back home from the rugby. And he's like, oh, yeah? How was it? And I said, oh, it's good. The Blues won. I'm happy. And he's like, why are you happy the Blues won? And I said, because the Blues are my team. I support the Blues. I'm happy they won. And he's like, okay. I was like, do you like the Blues? He said, yeah, but not as much as the Greens. So I'm not sure how much of it he really gets. Yeah, it's pretty much halftime. Next knock on, or oh, there it is, knock on. That'll be halftime. Unless the Bulls can use this knock on advantage to do something. There's plenty of 1997 Super Rugby. Unfortunately, it's got Spanish commentary. Damn. That's random. Halftime. The game's not called off in New Zealand. Not yet. I feel like they probably will. Oh, there's a spider crawling along there. Not that big. Support an opposite team just annoy the dad. Yep, that could be a thing. Go Greens. I know, right? It's just because he likes green. Green's his favorite color. So he's just like blues, reds. There must be just like, this must be the way that it works. All the teams are just colors. English. I'm Kiwi, if you're talking to me. Definitely not the best Crusaders team. Tonight was a very makeshift Crusaders team. They brought in a couple of guys for debut and whatnot. So, yeah. My son's an Ireland fan. There you go. He probably will be. Like last year, Super Rugby, he would have been an away Highlanders fan. But other than that, he's either an Ireland fan or a Seattle Seawolves fan or something. I wish the Bulls played more like they did in 2009. That's kind of blast from the past territory, man. 2009. No Vilema tonight. Nah, bro. Export gold. Beggars can't be choosers. Oh, South African fan. That's true. That's true. I feel like he's more into those light greens than his dark greens, though. Ireland has the best anthem. I like the French one too, though. The French one's got a very good rhythm about it. Play rugby? Nah, not really, man. I was very stick thin in my teenage years. I played a lot of cricket, played soccer. I played rugby at like lunchtime with the boys, but like the first 15 guys for the most part didn't play. And if they did play, they pushed us into the dirt easily. So, yeah. One of my mates, like from my kind of like, I played cricket with him growing up. Eventually, by the time he was like 16, he bulked up enough to actually get into the rugby team, but I never did. The rules changed. Yeah, I guess that's part of it as well. You need to have a team that plays well with whatever those rules are. Scotland has the best anthem. Oh, the New Zealand one. I'm not sure if everyone's just a bit hard on their own anthem, but the New Zealand one is just two problems. Is it's played too slowly. I think they need to play it at a slightly higher tempo. I once heard it played in Australia in a rugby game, and they played it at a just slightly higher tempo, and it sounded a lot better. But also, it's essentially the same song twice. It's once in Māori and once in English. I feel like they could either just go with the Māori version and dump the English version, or go with like 50-50. But the same song twice, I don't know. It takes too long. Get it over and done with. Classic game to watch on YouTube. Auckland Blues v Waratahs 1997. One of Ken Pacey's last games of Super Rugby. How about them Blues? I know, man. The Blues played some nice rugby. They got a good win. I was pretty satisfied. Favorite women's team is the Black Ferns. I wish I watched more women's rugby, to be honest. I don't have time. But it's definitely a game which is growing. It's growing faster than the men's game. If I did play, what would I play? Oh, I guess. I mean, when I played at lunchtime, we didn't even really define who was playing what position. I generally played like the equivalent of a flanker, but it was lunchtime game, so it was, yeah, it was messy. Remember, I was playing with the kids who didn't play much rugby, so yeah, I had a size advantage because I'm tall. Didn't have a lot of bulk. I like the New Zealand one in Māori. Doing the whole thing again in English is just punishment. Yeah, I kind of agree. Just do it in Māori. It sounds better. And it's just once instead of saying it twice. Or, like I mentioned, first verse in one, second verse in another. It works. And Ryan, yeah, I know, he's trolling. So I'll block him if he's going to be trolling. Doesn't Scotland have the unicorn as their national animal? What? Higgity took Roscoe out with the shoulder. Funnily enough, they're not replaying that. a better commentator. Commentators have to do a lot of prep. I think in the live streams, I end up talking about, I don't know, everything but the game at times. Watching me right now. Good. Hocha. I can still read Chinese. What do you reckon is the fastest growing form of rugby? I think in New Zealand it's women's 15s, but I could be mistaken. I'm not sure about the rest of the world. Sevens seems to be doing okay. What happened to the Bulls? The Bulls had a good lead, and then the Reds came back into the game somehow. The haka is also good. I think the haka is good. I enjoy watching the haka. Sounds like Jake White could possibly be the new Bulls director of rugby. That guy gets linked with virtually every big rugby position that comes up. I've always been amused that Australian coverage, they always bring up on the title card for the commentator how many test caps they have. Yeah, but they don't just do test caps. They rotate it. Like Mills Muliana was on the previous game and it said 2011 World Cup winner, and then it said number of Super Rugby tries, or was it test tries, and then also number of Super Rugby games, so that they rotate it. Yeah. I can imagine Squidge and you doing commentary. If Squidge and I were doing commentary, like usually commentary's got the play-by-play guy and then the color guy, which is the guy who's like usually the former player. I think I could do play-by-play if I really prepared, and then Squidge would be all the tactical nous, because his brain is amazingly wired that way, plus comedy. Jake White likes making enemies. No comment. South African anthem is the best. 2 songs jammed together in 5 languages. What's not to love? That's what I thought like we could do with the New Zealand one, is split it up instead of doing, like, I'm sure the South African one, I knew it's a lot of languages. I'm not the same song over and over and over again, right? So, yeah. Jake is a not good human being. Why? What's he done? Going back to the floor. All right. Have a good shift. Like George Gregan, 421. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Do you own an Xbox? I have an Xbox 360 still lying around somewhere and have a PS4 sitting over there. I did not buy the PS4. I won it when I was on one of my big obsessions with entering competitions. I think this was before I had a YouTube channel. What do you think of G-Man's videos? G-Man is like the passion guy. That's what I can appreciate about him. Like, Squidge is like comedy plus tactical insights. He's very good with that. And G-Man is like just that passionate fan who's like your mate, who's just like always good for a yarn and feels very strongly about stuff. So, yeah, I think G-Man is good for that kind of stuff. I don't think me or G-Man are particularly insightful in terms of like breaking down like tactical analysis videos, but I don't know about G-Man, but I certainly only watch games once, and there's no way on one viewing I would be able to pick up on much. I'll pick up more on the stats than the pick up more about what teams are doing from the stats than anything else. It flows nicely. Yeah, it does. The South African anthem, that is. Get a feeling Squid spends an alarming amount of time rewatching the games. I think you would have to. I think so. I'm sure he picks up a lot on first viewing. But it's like anything. If you read a book a second time, watch a movie a second time, that's when you really start seeing the patterns or seeing the clues or triggers or whatever. So, yeah, I feel like to watch and analyze rugby, you would probably need to watch games more than once. And for the most part, I don't like watching games a second time. Unless it's like a really good or really important classic game, I can quite happily watch those again. But if it's just like the Jaguares against the Reds from 2019 or 18, I'm not fussed. What beer are you on? Export Gold. My dad brought some Export Golds around, so I'm drinking them. Oh man, what a start to the second half from the Reds. They have taken the lead after being 17-0 down. The Reds are back in front. Well, are in front for the first time. Wow. 41 minutes. Salaka Lotto. That guy Wilson's going to be a wallaby, huh? Great passing. Squidge's World Cup final video was super accurate, yeah. I almost feel sorry for Squidge when Wales getting smashed. True. Can you imagine watching your team getting beaten again and again? Squidge, G-Man, and you should work together. It's tough given that he's like Squidge is in England, G-Man is in South Africa, and I'm in New Zealand. We generally just do our own stuff. But yeah, there's definitely room for collaboration. 1917, missed conversion. I think I've rewatched Japan's win and Brighton about half a dozen times not to rub it into the box. I've definitely watched the final few minutes of that game 50 times. I don't know. That's just one of those cool moments. That bloody spider is back crawling across behind the telly now. But again, it's a New Zealand-sized spider, so it's pretty small. Jones and Marla looked very cozy past weekend. Marla's not going to be cozy for the next 10 weeks. But there may be no games on over the next 10 weeks. That may end up being the biggest joke. Oh dear, the Bulls curse again. Yeah. My Super Brew is also looking slightly more accurate now. If the Reds can just get one more converted try and stop there, then my Super Brew will be looking very good. These Reds fans are loud. That's a good thing. Blues fans are pretty quiet. Lucky I didn't touch this game with my wallet. Indeed. Who do you think is going to win this game? I still back the Reds, but at this point, I wouldn't be putting money on it either. Speckman has looked dangerous all night. Reds in front, indeed. Eat the Spider $10 super chat. Bro, not worth it. Not worth it. I've eaten centipede, scorpion. At least they were cooked. I ain't eating no bugs for nobody. Great rugby players have so much respect for each other. You like to think so. I like to think there's a good respect, healthy respect between players. If we go back 3 hours, would be the best time for collabs. Be 8 a.m. South Africa, something similar. Yeah. To be honest, I haven't ever reached out to people for collabs. I've had a couple of people ask me. I've done one for unbiased rugby. Yeah, it's just sometimes I'm a naturally lazy person, so that's part of that. And yeah, I try to just do rugby stuff when my kids are otherwise occupied. Maybe they were super aware of being strong first half all year, dying in the second. Maybe Thorn said go out there at 50% and build up. I can't imagine Brad Thorn ever saying to anybody, go out there and give 50%, but you never know. Any foul play in this game so far? Sounds like the cleanest game of Super Rugby. Well, there was a yellow card for Fairway Satia put in a late shot earlier in the game. One of the guys just kind of got lifted up and put down, but nothing happened because they put him down gently. Who do you think are the front runners for the 12 and 13 for the All Blacks? I would still probably go ALB and Goodhue, man. They both seem to be in really good form. That's embarrassing. Johnny Kotzer just tried to put in a grubber kick and he just dropped it straight on the ground and missed it with his boot. Put both Barrett brothers at 12 and 13. Which Barrett brothers? Are you talking Scott? The Bulls did score 7 points during the 7 or 5? 5 during the yellow. What do you think will happen to the Six Nations? I think they said they're going to postpone to October. Is the latest guess, which would mean Wales will have a very, very long reign as Six Nations champions from last year. Even that refrigerator Xander is going for offloads. Yep. Some of those Reds guys are pretty young, man. ALB Goodhue versus Esterhazy. I have to go the Kiwis, but man, that's for no reason other than I'm a Kiwi, I think. Esterhazy and is probably a better balance of two different skill sets put together. Physical and like, wow, he really does look young, doesn't he? But yeah, got the Nous defensive capabilities, read the game really well. He gets intercepts like nobody's business. What's up with the Katy Perry jokes? Are they supposed to be funny? What do you think about the proposed changes to the Rugby Championship? What were the proposed changes to the Rugby Championship? Kiri subs. Hey. He can bloody scrum. That's the main thing for a prop. That's step one to get in the team. Next time South Africa plays the Kiwis, it'll be the 100th test. Yeah, how long are we going to have to wait for it, man? How long is it going to be? Have to love having load shedding during the Stormers game. Do you know I didn't even know what load shedding was until live streams? They do load shedding in China as well, but I didn't know it was called load shedding, and it's not that regular. But every now and again, your power would get turned off. Well, if you're getting load shedding during that time, you just need to shut yourself off from all social media and then watch the game delayed. It's doable. I do it all the time. No radio, no phone, no Twitter, no Facebook, no news, no TV. Depends how important it is to you. What I think of Owen Farrell as captain, I think he's a bit easily riled, but he is not the only one. He's not like the best example captain, but he's one of those guys where, like, do you pick him one of your most skilled players as captain? Sure, he's a great choice. Wallace, what is up? I am well. I'm watching what may be the last bit of live rugby for a while, Wallace, because travel bans and whatnot may mean there's no rugby for a wee while. Do I think Super Rugby will be stopped? I think it'll be postponed or something will have to happen. Has Spate missed a minute of Reds rugby all year? I don't think so. It's a blackout. It's not load shedding. It's a fancy way of saying blackout. How do you donate? It's the button, the little dollar sign. What's it called? Show your support. I think they call it a super chat. I really wanted the 100th test to be the World Cup final. Yeah, but New Zealand didn't deserve to get to the final based on that semi, man. They got well beaten. No Twitter. Does that sound like toilet? No way. Sorry, the accent does happen. Use the DSTV Now app during load shedding. Okay. There you go. There's an idea. Congratulations on the Blues game. They really outplayed the Lions. They did, man. They played really well. Defense was absolutely solid. Attack looked sharp. Who's your best example of a captain? Best example of a captain. Maybe someone like David Pocock, because not only is he perhaps your most talented guy on the team, but he's also very smart. Knows how to talk to the ref, knows how to give good post-match interviews, not cause a big stir, generally well regarded, doesn't lose their cool, I think. Like, some captains are clearly not the best player, and that's always a little bit awkward where you think, would he be in the team if he wasn't the captain? You want your captain to be a guy who you would choose no matter what, but then some guys just don't have the temperament for it. So, yeah. Oh, John Eales, for sure. John Eales was the man. They called him nobody for a good reason. Corona reminds me I need to get toilet paper. Speaking of toilet, why is everyone talking toilet stuff? All right, man. Take it easy, Wallace. Can't choose the best captains, too many. Yeah. Perth, Western Australia, get to see the Blues doing well. Sam Knock, bro. Yeah, man. He was doing amazing. That big line breaker his. The Blues look better when he plays instead of Ruru, I tell you. Like, Ruru may be more physical, but that's like secondary option for number 9. Quick pass, good decision making, distribution. That's what you need. I thought about Richie McCaw, but Richie McCaw, I think, probably attracted a little bit too much negative, criticism about kind of being cheap. Like, he's not that well regarded, I think, for kind of pushing the limits on what you can get away with. So I don't think much of that kind of stuff ever stuck to Pocock from memory. Andre Pollard will make a good captain. Indeed, he's not going to have any problems about being one of the most skilled guys on the field, that's for sure. Whiteley. Yeah, that's true. Warren Whiteley was also very good. Although if Vermeulen's there, do you play Whiteley? John Smith is a good example of a good captain, but not always the best player. That's true. You can definitely have guys who are not the best player, but are the best captain. Jean de Villiers. Johnny Sexton's another one whose temperament, I think, sometimes gets him into a bit of trouble. Like when he's frustrated, I think it shows, which is not ideal. Richie was a great captain, but I put him with someone like Gregan, excellent in their time, but really polarizing. A gamesman. Yeah, Richie, well loved in New Zealand, probably not so much in Australia or England. But yeah, likewise, Gregan, absolutely hated over here. 4 more years, we still get riled up about that. Buck Shelford. Yeah, you're winding back the clock, but definitely Buck Shelford. Rue looks like a player out of position. Sometimes, mate. Yeah. Buck never lost his captain. He played with damaged undercarriage. Indeed. Indeed. Sean Fitzpatrick was a good captain. I heard he used to grab guys by the balls. Kind of like Joe Marler, but more aggressively. So that's always kind of hung around my mind about him. Apparently, he was pretty dirty at times, but again, don't know. Sam Cane as captain. He's been kind of groomed as the captain, but I don't know that he's ever quite naturally stepped up. I'm not sure if he has the presence about him. I mean, I guess you could say the same about Richie. Like, my dad's been reading Kieran Reid's book, and he said that he describes Richie as being a man of few words and just kind of got people into line with a look. So I'm not sure if Kane has the same look. Whiteley usurped Vermeulen during Kutsia's reign, and then injuries hit him. True, his injuries were horrific, man. Some guys' careers are just ruined by that. I don't see what the hype is with Sam Cane. I mean, he's really good at the breakdown. He's a tackling machine, makes loads of tackles, gets loads of turnovers, but that's essentially it. If you grab a bloke by the balls who doesn't want to be grabbed by the balls, you should bloody use yours. Yeah. Not a fan of people going for the balls, to be honest. I can remember when Sam Cane came in for Richie, it didn't make a difference. Paul O'Connell was a good captain, that's for sure. Inspirational. Now, he's a guy who does have presence. When I talk about Sam Cane maybe not having that presence, like Paul O'Connell, he gives off like the vibe. Yeah. What do you think about the high tackle law? It's rough for players to get penalised, attacking players ducking into a tackle. Yeah, I mean, I get what Eddie Jones is going on about the one at the weekend, last weekend, because George North is literally sliding in for a try and gets tackled. So is there a way to tackle him? Maybe not legally by the current laws, but I think generally a lot of the high tackles, it's like, bro, you should have started lower. Like if you start with a small margin of error and the guy ducks, you're going to be over. It's kind of like leaving for the airport, right? Like if you leave for the airport, if it's a 30-minute drive and you give yourself 35 minutes to drive there, that's not that much if there's an accident on the motorway. So maybe give yourself 45 just in case. So just like start a bit lower than even a bit lower. Don't know. Not rugby, but Graham Smith was a very good captain, very limited player. Green leader, man. That's cricket, right? Testing my knowledge, man. Mornay Stain is still around. Yep, that's unbelievable. Is he older than me? If he's not, he's close to it. He's about my age. No one turned their back on Fitzpatrick in the shower. Damn. Okay, that sounds dodgy as hell. DJ Forbes, yeah, getting sevens in there. Staying on the park is such a legend. It is nice to see the legends play and still being able to keep up, that's for sure. But you never want them to stick around for too long that it feels unwelcome. Mornay Stain is in the danger age for COVID-19. It does affect you more as you get older. Sam McDermott is on. I think he's a horrible defensive game. I'll have to have a look at what McDermott's defensive stats are because Super Rugby keeps really good stats for individuals and for teams. It's cricket. Good, I thought so. South African cricket captain, right? If I'm not mistaken. Didn't Google it. But I definitely wouldn't have known about him as a player, that's for sure. Who's the best defensive Super Rugby team right now? I would have said the Stormers until maybe they played the Blues. Brits and Matfield were both nearly 40 when they retired. That's true. I think Brits is definitely older than me. Whoa, the Reds are going close. They're in the 22. Conor Murray would be a good captain. But then with Conor Murray at the moment, is he the best 9 in Ireland or is it Cooney? Don't know. Feel sorry for Jones, but it's funny how English rugby have to apologise on his behalf. He's definitely speaking his mind a lot, which is in some ways refreshing, but also sometimes a bit annoying. Like his comment about the ref being on the Welsh side was a bit like, come on, man. There's a lot of respect for Matfield. Yeah, Matfield's a legend. Probably shouldn't have come back out of retirement at that time, though. Richard Hadley to captain the All Blacks as the first 5. I don't know, man. Did he have any rugby skills? Sharks are going to make the Stormers look bad. Could happen. What's going on with your Bulls, Jonathan? I don't know, man. They're under the pump, but they're holding on. Not by a lot. They're still in the game. Need the Reds to get a converted try and then Bulls to get a penalty. That's a very specific set of circumstances. Right. 22-17. Penalty to the Reds. Bulls are going to need to try at this point. What are your thoughts on the new All Blacks 15 team? I thought it was kind of a bit of hot air. Not fussed. Back in my days, they used to play like the possibles and probables. They used to play each other for the actual All Blacks team. That I thought was probably better than this All Blacks 15 thing. We've already got the Māori All Blacks. We've got the Sevens. Don't know that we need another team, man. Brian O'Driscoll was good captain. Yeah, that's probably a good point, man. He's also another one of those all-round guys, like best, if not one of your best, if not your best player on the pitch. Also, handles referees well, speaks well, leads by example, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, generally pretty well respected. Glenn Taylor was bloody tough and old school locking captain. Glenn Taylor. Can't picture. How long ago are we talking for Glenn Taylor? Has Bowden joined the Blues? He is training with the Blues, but hasn't played a game yet. Anyone could have asked that how increase the Reds' lead by 1. All Blacks are going to have a problem getting a suitable captain. Yeah, true. With Whitelock going overseas, that's left a bit of a void with Reed retiring as well. I saw Matt Proudfoot at a local golf club on Tuesday and had no idea it was him at the time. Oh, man, I guess that can happen. They used to televise possibles, probables here in Australia. It was always a great game. Yeah, man. Definitely, it was always a great game. Like some of the best players in New Zealand going up against each other. But maybe that was pre-Super Rugby, so Super Rugby already combines a lot of those teams together, so it's not such a big deal. Like the old city versus country, it's true. Do you reckon England will win the Six Nations? Oh, the Six Nations is just totally up in the air at the moment. Who knows what it's going to look like in a few months? Stormers must win this one. It would certainly put them back on track if they get a win, man. But the Sharks are looking like the team at the moment. But that being said, the Stormers were looking like the team when they got beaten by the Blues. The Chiefs were looking like the team when they got beaten by the Brumbies. So, yeah. Reed's retired from internationals, that's for sure. Do women watch my channel? Not many, but some, yes. It's definitely like between 5 and 10% of my viewers. DMAC best at 10 or 15? I would say 15, quite happily. But also good to have him flexible as a cover for 10 if needs be. Think if New Zealand pick a young team, Geordie should be captain. But is Geordie even our best 15? Geordie apparently wants to play 12. Don't know. Beer must be warm. It's cool. It's not cold, but it's cool. It's colder than if I pulled it out of the cupboard, but not as cold if I pulled it out of the fridge. Uh-oh. Deliberate knockdown? Galant might be in trouble. Galant might be in trouble. McDermott has lightning fast delivery. It's like number 1, isn't it, for a number 9, is you need to have a quick pass. This is what I love about Nohamba from the Sharks as well. He passes really well. Age range for the channel? I think it goes all age ranges. The biggest age range is like dudes in their 20s, 30s. Farrell 10 or 12. I would have said 10. You reckon the All Blacks will persist with Mo'unga and Barrett 10-15? I kind of hope not. I think with D-Mac, they don't need to do that anymore if D-Mac's fit. You should have a forward as captain of New Zealand, the thick of it, hyping up the guys. Having a 15 is just wasted. He is pretty far away from the action if you're 15 as captain, but Hogg's captain of Scotland, so it's doable. You feel like if the Reds score here, it could be game, especially if they convert it. The Reds are only a meter out. They should score. Looping pass. Boomfa. Murphy. Try time to the Reds. What a comeback, man. Sorry, Bulls. The Reds have come really good. How much time is left? I missed it. What was it? 12 minutes? Do you think Aaron Cruders will play for the All Blacks again this year? I don't think so, because he's going to Japan next year. Bowden Barrett is captain? Possible. Not sure if he wants it. Back line of Smith, Mo'unga, Bridge, Laumape, Crotty. Crotty's gone. Take out Crotty. Can you show the game itself? I sure can't. Because I do not own the rights. What happened to the Bulls? I was on the stream an hour ago and they were 17 up. I know, man. The Bulls have been getting kind of smashed. 27-17. I picked Reds by 10. So, hey, man, I'm on the money at the moment. Bulls stink poorly coached. I thought they were pretty well coached last year, but they had better players, so it's hard to say. Hopefully Durban Fairweather show out today. Hopefully they get a decent number, man. I saw Limas Opwanga playing 15 for Wasps and rather good. I haven't seen him play 15. I have to head out. Thank you, buddy. Take care. Bulls had their time in the 2000s when they were unbeatable. Yeah, at least they've had that. Unlike some other teams, they've been there and done it before, even if it was a long time ago. 30 degrees in Durban. Warm weather for rugby. Reds continue the tradition of kicking conversion with their eyes closed. That's a thing. Geordie Barrett could go to the midfield and Rico. Yeah, they could. Neither of them has been initially picked in the All Blacks in those positions, but yeah, possible. Thoughts on the fact that the Boks are playing Georgia in June? Man, who knows what's going to happen with any of the fixtures? And to be honest, I haven't looked much at the international fixtures thus far. They still seem like a long way away. Does the Rugby Championship have a Grand Slam like the Six Nations? It does not. It doesn't, no. Which I guess is another one that it could look at. Are you going live for the Sharks game? It's on at 2 in the morning, so no. I'm going to not watch the Sharks game, go to bed, and then tomorrow get up. I'm going to go out with the kids in the morning. I'm not going to look at any stuff on my phone, no scores, not going to call my dad. And then I will try and watch the Hawaras game, which is on at lunchtime tomorrow here in New Zealand. I will watch the Sharks game at the same time. One on TV, one on computer. So, yeah, that's the plan. They had Pollard last year for Mulan. Exactly. They did bleed a lot of players. Which team has the ball at the moment? It's a Reds line out in the Bulls half. I would watch the Sharks Storms game, but I have to get up at 9 a.m. Yeah, me as well. I don't want to be operating on not much sleep. Oh, the Reds are going to score. That's going to be 7, surely. Spate intercept, and Hoopert gets a try. I'm going to say 34. They've just buggered my Super Brew. Damn it, Reds. Damn it, Bulls. Please go live at 2. Nah, man, I'm not doing that. I need some sleep. If I was going to go live at 2, I would need to be already in bed. Love you, Spate, you big, beautiful sob. Indeed. Never picking the Bulls again. Go to the steam room, put your phone on charger, and come out when the Sharks annihilate the Stormers. Good idea, man. This game's pretty much done and dusted. Bulls scored 17 unanswered points, only to concede 34 unanswered points. Are you going to watch the Crusaders Hurricanes? Who knows what's going to happen with the games next week, man? We'll have to wait and see what happens with COVID. G-Man will stream the game. Yeah. Ask him. He should stream it. That'd be the game to stream. Oh, really? Snook is a fish in Cape Town. The things you learn. Bulls doing what they do best. Well, at least one team in blue won today, mate. South China beat Manuma Samoa. Bro, I haven't followed any of the Rapid Rugby as yet. Oh, the Bulls have just knocked it on. This is getting painful. The Bulls guys are looking pretty deflated at this point. Six minutes to go. What do you think of the Bulls logo? That's all right. One of these days I'll do a logo ranking vid, but I haven't done it yet. Rebsy also picked the Reds by 10. Yeah, I need the Bulls to score once more to get my margin. But I guess at least I picked the Reds. Do you know a channel called Skinny Boy? I know Skinny Brew Rugby. Yep, I know Skinny Brew. Jasmine picked the Bulls and her husband picked the Reds. Your husband was the one. Sharks logo is the best. Looks like something I drew on the back of a folder in middle school. Yeah, it's a shark with a rugby ball, man. What else can you say? Have to do logo power ranking. Okay, or ranking. Yep. Could you do an all black Springbok dream team of players with 0 caps? Bro, I might be doing all kinds of stuff because I might have some time on my hands without any games to watch, eh? I could do another, like, young versus old team. Yeah, like you say, uncapped team. I did an uncapped team for the All Blacks a while back. Yeah, there's all kinds of teams I could do. Jersey rankings. I still need to do the jersey rankings. Oh, the Reds might score again. Not quite. The Bulls were looking so good until 25 minutes and went downhill since then. Indeed, man. It is a capitulation. I don't know what went on. Best captain list. Yep, that's for sure. Sharks have absolutely too much sponsorship on their jersey. Yeah, they need the money. Crusaders logo is phallic. Isn't it a C? Why don't you do a video where you pick a historical captain in every position? True, I could. I know after the World Cup, people were doing like all-time World Cup teams, but they get pretty hard because you can pick just so many guys, and it's really hard to compare guys from different generations. Like, there was a winger named Terry Wright back when I was a young fella who would have been like 80 kilos, maybe less, maybe 70. He was very slight. There's no way he would have been able to play these days, not without bulking up. Oh, another try for the Reds. It's a bonus point win. Who would have thought Reds for a bonus point win after they were 17-0 down, huh? Historic captains, true. Undeserved Springboks versus All Blacks. Under 10 caps. Yeah, that would be a bit of research. A guy who was good in the 80s would get destroyed by a terrible team today. Yeah, pretty much. The size difference is just phenomenal. $41-17. This is a bit of a hiding, man. At least if there's going to be no more Super Rugby for a while, the Queenslanders got something to cheer about. History of Super Rugby, yeah, that could be one I do. The old lineouts, yeah, before they used to lift people, terrible. People have been transferred from over the leagues. Yeah, that was a bit terrible from the Bulls. Good start, and then, damn, 41 unanswered points. Not much good you can say about that. Let's hope they don't cancel the tournament. That may be whatever the next video is whatever decision they decide to make about what happens with the tournament. But yeah, anyway, at least we got to see some rugby today, guys. Cheers for coming along. It was a bit of fun. Good result for the Reds. Pretty disappointing for the Bulls. But yeah, career stats would be interesting. The trouble with career stats is it's not like other sports where they have a reliable source of truth for who keeps the stats. Rugby is all over the place. I think the World Cup is pretty good for stats in terms of having those records, but all the other tournaments have terrible record keeping. So, yeah. Anyway, cheers, guys. Ribsy, I bet you are happy. Ricardo has probably only just woken up. Hawara's game tomorrow, man. At least tomorrow New Zealand time. So I think it's probably 8 p.m. Argentina time, I think. So, yeah. Cheers, guys. 41-17. Bits of a hiding. But yeah, I'll watch the two games tomorrow. Do the review video tomorrow. And we will see what happens with Super Rugby as to whether the games are going to go ahead, cancelled, postponed, whatever. But yeah. Cheers, Jonathan. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Liam. Aloran. Have a good night, morning, whatever it is where you guys are. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you guys.